Eagles fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat Shell and Dante the dark child. Drop the stats on them. Drop the facts on them. Spur game, baby. Let's get it on.
Hey, fam, it's your man Dante the DarkKnight, and welcome to another edition of Eagles Talk pregame. Our Philadelphia Eagles take on the Los Angeles Rams. This is a rematch from last year's Divisional Round playoff game in which the Eagles came out victorious in a snow-filled game. Saquon Barkley was the savior of that game, amassing over 100, and he had a lot of yards. I can't remember exactly. It was well over 120 yards, I believe. I have to pull up the stats. But we play the Rams. Saquon Barkley has had much success against them the past two games, setting records, personal records in the first game. And today we look for the same outcome, which is a W, a win. And I wouldn't mind a Saquon Barkley eruption today. Anything that can contribute to us continuing our win streak. Jalen Hurts presently has a win streak of 16 games in which he started and finished, or greater. I don't know, or greater. But in any event, we are looking forward to today's game. Coming up at 1 o'clock, I am flying solo today, as you can see, so bear with me. But let me just put this out there to the world so everybody can experience what's going on. What am I doing? Oh, there you go. All right. So, all right, getting ready for this game against the Los Angeles Rams. I went back, looked over the tape again, paid strict attention to A.J. Brown and the routes he was running, and although they were shading coverage to his side, there were opportunities for, a pass to be thrown this way. In particular, I don't know if you got – I looked at the all 22 so I could see the entire field. But on that first pass play, first drop back Jalen had, in which he dropped the ball, A.J. was open for a touchdown had that been noticed. He was open for a touchdown. One-on-one coverage, no help over the top, and he had beat his man. But unfortunately, Jalen dropped the ball, so that was a missed opportunity. Some of the routes seem to be elementary to me, simple. Some of the routes, they did shade coverage to A.J., which wouldn't have made it impossible for him to catch the pass. It would have just been a more risky throw. And I've heard that being talked about all week. Jalen unwillingness to take risks with the pass. And, we all like that, right? Because we've seen when he has taken those risks and it has not turned out well. So he doesn't do that as much anymore. He doesn't take those risks and throw into tight windows, eliminating the opportunity to turn the ball over. And that formula has been working. Let's not get it twisted. Him reducing his turnovers to the bare minimum has brought us another Super Bowl. Let's just be honest about that. Him decreasing his turnovers, in which he had a lot in the previous year, not last year, but the previous year in 23, was a significant improvement and help to this team in winning the Super Bowl. Now the offense looks a little anemic now, and people are calling for him to take more risks with the ball. I don't know. I mean, I like to see explosive passing yards. Don't get me wrong. I would like to see an aerial attack that was reminiscent to 22 when we went to the Super Bowl. I would love to see that. I don't know if that is the best path for our offense. I mean, the way it's constructed is I know we have a very talented offense, but sometimes with that talent, there's a curse, so to speak. And I don't mean a curse. Let me rephrase that. Not a curse, but there's a downside to that. And that is the fact that you have a lot of great players that want to showcase their abilities. They want to contribute to the win. And I don't think in this instance here that either of the stars want that more than they want the W, which is what's helping keep this ship afloat. Because had we had those kind of superstars that were insistent on their numbers over the team's success, we may not be sitting here as two-time Super Bowl champions. So, but that is the downside to having so many talented players, is that they want to showcase their ability. Saquon wants to run for 100 yards. Well, no, Saquon might be a little different. He's proven that, right, over the last year. He will sit out the game to let young boys get some clock. And he was on the verge of setting a personal record and then put himself aside, no selfish reasons. No, let the young guys play. He didn't cause any ruckus when they decided to sit him in the final game of last year, in which he could have broken the single season rushing record. He said, no, I'm good. No noise there. He wants to win. He knew that there was a bigger picture, and he was willing to sacrifice. So we are very fortunate not to have those type of stars. But let's make no mistakes about it. If we did have those type of stars, this would be a very brutal stretch right here. Even with amongst all the winning, if we had those selfish superstars, there could be dissension in the locker room. So thank God we don't. But with that comes the decision, or the tough decisions, on who gets the most touches, right? And I don't think they even think about who gets the most touches. I think really that their mindset is just strictly focus on winning the game. And that entails, it doesn't matter who gets the ball. Let's get it to the one that is going to be most beneficial for this play. All right. With that being said, I don't know if they're doing the best job at it, because our offense is kind of anemic. We're winning games, and I think that is strictly a result of having the luxury of having this defense on the other side of without this defense, we would be in big trouble right now with the way our offense is performing. Without this defense and Sirianni and the rest of their teammates having that luxury of them going out there and holding the opponent to scrawny numbers, this could be a big thing. But this is what great teams are about. They win in any way necessary. And this team is built to win in a multitude of ways. And it's been on display for the past 2 years on how many different ways they can win a game. And the first 2 games have been defensive. They've been defensive wins. So today, I think that we're going to be we're going to need that offense. We're playing against a offensive team that is built to put numbers on the board. I know they have to go against our defense, but in the event, because we saw a game against the Dallas Cowboys, and when that first half, they put up numbers, right? We can't afford that with the Rams. We can't let them put up numbers, not even in one half. We don't want to see them just putting up numbers. But without further ado, I got my co-host here, Pat. I was trying to hold off, Pat, until you got here, and you're here. So we can start the first quarter.
Yeah, we can start the first quarter.
All right, guys, you are watching and listening to Eagles Talk pregame, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you look. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team. That is the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage. Nothing fancy here. You know me. I just have coffee. Pat has the Woodford Reserve. I don't even need to see the bottle. We know what it is. You guys, let me know what you're doing. 1 o'clock game, a little earlier. But we get our game out the way, and we can go to enjoy the rest of the day. So let's get this W. So let's lift our cups in honor of our Philadelphia Eagles and take – let me get the soundboard ready. And take this down the hatch. So 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the First Quarter.
All right, so Pat, I just opened up by talking. I looked at the film. I looked at A.J. Brown in particular.
Mm-hmm.
They were rolling coverages to him and the such, but there were opportunities that we could have gotten the ball to him.
Definitely were.
It would have been a little high risk situations. Well, not high risk, maybe medium risk. But they could have thrown it his way a little bit more. And one play in particular I noticed was the first pass play of the game in which AJ was open, wide open. Like it was a touchdown had he seen him. But that was the play in which he dropped the ball and they recovered it. So that didn't happen. But there were opportunities. I wasn't happy. Some of the routes looked very, very elementary, but this passing game has got to pick it up. This offense as a whole has got to pick it up. So I hope they go into to get today's game more focused and ready to possibly keep pace with a Los Angeles Ram team that is putting up.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams, they have weapons. We're facing a team that has two very, very talented wide receivers, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. A very good quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who has been known to have a very strong arm and get the ball anywhere on the field. Excuse me. It's going to be a daunting task for our defense. But excuse me, that water went down the wrong. But you know what? I say this because our defense, they're built to last. All right. Yeah, we have one little defecto position that we're looking at in Dory Jackson, and you can say, you know what, we got you one more week. But you know what? If he's playing at least a decent football enough that, holding away from the Jacorian Bennick and Keely Ringo may be worse than he is, I think we're all right because this defense has been really outstanding. Even with that one particular corner not playing well. But with that being said, DarkKnight, I still have to read the inactives so we can knock these out the way real quick. For the Los Angeles Rams, you have offensive guard Steve Ovilla, outside linebacker Nick Hampton, third string quarterback Stinson Bennett, tight end Terrence Ferguson, offensive tackle DJ Humphreys. For the good guys, the Philadelphia Eagles, running back Will Shipley, who's still out on the injury, Tanner McKee, third string quarterback, offensive lineman Drew Kendall, offensive lineman Kendall Green, edge Patrick Johnson, edge Aziz O'Leary, and edge Ugba Urankano. Did I say that right? For All right, and that's our inactives for this battle. This is becoming a rivalry right now because of Jared Verse. Jared Verse trash talking and talking about how on the offseason, the one team that he could not stand was the fans of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a big time trash talker, but he backs it up. He's a very, very talented player. But today we need to dominate him and his defensive line mates. That's because that's how we won against them the past two games. You get past that line of scrimmage, the linebackers are trash. The defensive backs are trash. I mean, you got Emmanuel Forbes playing corner AJ Brown. AJ Brown blessed the guy so badly that they dropped him at the Washington Commanders. So once you get past that first wave of the line of scrimmage against the Rams, we could do a lot of damage. Like you said, DarkKnight, got to open that passing game. I understand winning is a win. Even if you throw for 100 yards, 1 yard, and you still win the game, it's still a win. But in this league, with these games, you have to put the ball up. And with these talented wide receivers, you cannot deny them the ability to get the ball in their hands and let them do what they do. Make big time plays.
Yeah, I agree. This offense has got to show a little bit more life. Now, all we need to see is like one game of it, and I think it'll put everybody at ease. If we see offensive production today, and don't get it twisted. This, I'm not worried about the numbers, so to speak, right? I'm not worried and I say that because I was happy with the offense in week 1. The 24 points against the Dallas Cowboys kind of, slowed down the second half, but the first half was very encouraging to me. We moved the ball, and although the numbers weren't lofty or anything like that, Jalen only had like 150 yards passing or something like that. it looked fluid. It looked consistent. They were moving the ball. I could see that again. If I see that again today, I'll be okay with that. The numbers don't have to be astronomical. He doesn't have to throw for 300, 400 yards. He rarely does, right? He doesn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? A 200-yard game, 250-yard game or something like that. But more importantly, I need to see the team moving the ball. We weren't moving the ball very fluidly last week, and that was against a good Kansas City defense headed by Spags. And Spags is a future Hall of Famer, as a defensive coordinator. So, he did what he was supposed to do. But I need to see this offense be more fluid, be more consistent. And if we have that type of game today where we put up 24 or more points, I think everybody calm down. Everybody would calm down because I believe that we're the type of team that, and this is a sign of a great team, right? We're the type of team that we can rise to the occasion, right? Where the concern is in looking at the offense is that it doesn't look like that on offense right now. It doesn't look like we can just dial in and, all right, if we need this, we'll do this. I mean, we did it last year. I remember we were almost like in the same spot as, concerning wanting to see the passing game. The passing game was looking horrible. We can't win like that. And then we played the Steelers and we passed all over. And then it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Then it was like, okay, all right. You know what I mean? So, I understand that we may not see it on display week after week after week, but it's there in the arsenal. And when we need to tap into it, we can do what it takes to win the game. I need some reassurance of that today with the offense.
I need to see the results. But the thing about it is, his Jalen's security blanket is back, and Dallas Goedert being out. We depend on these other tight ends, but not realizing how valuable Dallas Goedert really is for this team. Like his ability to be a top-notch blocker at the tight end position, then be a security blanket for your quarterback is essential in some of these terms, especially in this offense that's slow to start. You need that weapon in the middle of the field, on the outskirts of the field. He says he assists Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata sending that defensive line and getting Saquon Barkley out there for those huge runs. We saw it last week when a couple of our tight ends was doing a little bit here, a little bit there, but collectively, I think our tight ends had 2 catches for the whole game. We can't have that this game. Dallas Goedert is essential to this essential piece to this offense. With him being out, sometimes the offense looks different. Actually, every time he's been out, the offense looked different. But this game, I think we need to really rely on our tight end and let AJ Brown eat this week. Let him eat this week.
Yeah, I agree with that. But without further ado, I've waited long enough before I brought our third co-host into the conversation. That's you guys that are in the chat room. We thank you guys for pre-gaming with us, man. And the first person in the chat room today is Jeremiah. Jeremiah says, time to go out and get this dub.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Dion, second person in the room. Dion, what did you pre-game before the pre-game? Don't be pre-gaming before the pre-game, all right? Because when he's the second person in the room, that just tells me he might have been pre-gaming before the pre-game. Dion's usually late. No, let's go 3-0. Somebody's always got to go. Yes, Rachel is third person in the room. She says, go Birds. Hello, fam. Hello, good morning. Or good afternoon. I'm sorry. Francis is in the house. He says, Eagles. Dion, welcome to the broadcast, Pat. Can we start the damn first quarter, please? I see. I held off. Jack is in the house. Jack said Stella Artois. Yeah, that was my beer. Stella Artois. And I like the taste, but I more was it was the more snobbish factor. I love to say Stella Artois. Give me a Stella Artois. And then they have their special goblets that they pour the beer in. Yeah. I love that. All right, Daphne's in there. Hey, fam, just tap in for a minute. Still in church, but let's get this win. All right, say a prayer for us up in church. All right, everybody's in there. They lead to be head coaches I'm sorry, I was just reading that. But John Petit said, I think Cam Latu will be huge in the run game as well. He put a block on a
did.
Chiefs player last week. Golly, yeah, that's what's up. We need all of that. All of that we need to see today at home. You know, last 19 games, they're all wins. We have one loss. We're in the last 19 games, I think we had one loss, and that was the game that Jalen got knocked out of.
Mm-hmm.
But Jalen's last games that he's started and finished, undefeated, man. Undefeated. So this guy, all he does is win, and we sometimes find fault in that. I don't think we find fault in him winning, but still find fault in a quarterback with as high a winning percentage as he has is asinine to me. Like what? What do you want him to do outside of that? What do you want your quarterback to do? Maybe that's the question we need to ask. What do you want your quarterback to do? Because some people don't want the same thing. Some people want lofty numbers. They want to see their quarterback, be like Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. Well, maybe not Pat Mahomes. I mean, they want him to look like Pat Mahomes, but I'm trying to get another quarterback that fits Jalen's.
Josh Allen,
Josh Allen, the Lamar Jacksons, and they want to see those numbers and all that. But bottom line, man, do you want those numbers and that career, or do you want Jalen's numbers and Super Bowls? Because that's what I want. I want the wins and the Super Bowls. I don't care if they, he is winning MVPs and all that. That's great for him. And I hope that he can put his talents on display to do that. But bottom line, as a fan of the team, I want to see my quarterback win games and win championships. And Jalen has done both.
Definitely. That's all you want. You want your quarterback to win you the football game and not lose you the game. They call it a field manager, this or that. No, he's a field general, right? He's a field general. Without him, the things don't go right. We just talked about the last 19 games. He's 18-1. That one loss came when Jalen didn't finish the game. That's a telltale sign of what steadies the ship. The quarterback. The quarterback steadies the ship. No matter how much you might want him to throw for 450 yards, do you want a loss or do you want a victory? You want somebody to take their time and patiently give the team a victory, or you want a guy that throws for 500 yards and it looks good on offense, but at the same time, you're killing your defense, you're killing your linemen, you turn over the football. Fun fact, there hasn't been a turnover by the Eagles this year on offense.
Mm-hmm. That's huge, man.
With two games, and I know it's only 2 games. It's a small sample size. But last year, around 2 games, 3 games, Jalen had like 4 interceptions, 4 turnovers, forcing the ball downfield in 2 different situations where he should not have been forcing it to. This year, he's taking what the defense is giving him. He's being efficient, and he's winning the game. That's all we want to do, win the football game.
Yeah, I talked about us having unselfish stars, and that's a reason why we're successful, because we do have stars on this offense. Our offense is chock full of stars. And I think a big part of our success is the fact that they're not selfish superstars.
Correct.
And we could be cursed with that, right? But we're not. And I think that the head of that is Jalen. He's the leader on that side of the ball, and his personality and mindset is that he wants to win the game, and he's willing to put aside personal accolades to do that. And I think that kind of resonates amongst the offensive side of the ball. So maybe that contributes to the fact that they are not as divish as they could be, because we've seen superstars who are upset if they don't get certain amount of touches and a certain amount of shine. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If I'm a great player, I would like to be able to showcase my talents also. So I don't fault them for that. I would fault them though if they were causing dissension and drama in the locker room because of that. I would fault them for that. So I have to give credit where credit is due. We don't have that group of players. The closest thing, they try to keep putting AJ in that bucket, but I don't consider him in that bucket. I consider him, like I said, the former. And that is a person who is a great player who wants to showcase what he can do. You don't play this game to not try to be the best at your position that you can be, and that's what he would like to do. So I don't fault him for that.
Yeah, just something real quick on Jalen Hurts to go back to that. Since 2022, when Jalen Hurts has faced the best teams or the best quarterbacks, quote unquote, the top 5, he's 3-1 versus Mahomes. He's 1-0 versus Lamar, 1-0 versus Josh Allen, and 1-0 versus Joe Burrow. So those are your elite quarterbacks. I know they don't face each other like, I'm facing you in front of you and you go against each other's defense. But at the end of the day, it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. You get individual accolades, yes, but it's a team sport. If the team is not playing and not being efficient, it doesn't matter how many yards you put up in the air. And just on your point with AJ Brown not being a diva, listen, I see the eternal struggle. I see he wants to be the TO. He wants to go up like, yo, give me the damn ball. But at the end of the day, you can't argue with the facts of what the team is doing. The team's window for winning championships, not just one championship, but championships, is right now with the score. They're the 5th youngest team in the NFL. Get it done. This win, baby.
All right. Here's my good brother right here. And this is true too. Also, don't pick Jalen if you want to win a fantasy football championship. If you want to win big games and championships, I would pick him every day, all day. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that is true. People in fantasy, although, 1 year, that year when he was runner-up for MVP, he was putting up numbers.
Yeah,
he was putting up numbers that year, rushing and passing. But, for the purpose of us as fans, I don't need to see, my quarterback put up those lofty numbers. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I wouldn't love to see it, but I'm saying in my order of priority, winning games and championship comes ahead of looking like, Lamar Jackson and Josh. It hasn't done anything for them. They can't win big games. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the deciding factor, right? You can have the tools and all that, but when it comes down to it, can you win those big games? And not saying that Jalen is the main cause of us winning a lot of big games, but he is the leader. We give a lot of credit to the quarterback when they do good, when the team does good. And this is a case here. He does good when in big games.
Yes, sir. That's all we ask for. Shout out to the Chiefs fan on YouTube.
Oh goodness, boo! Tailgater. Who is that?
I don't know. I don't care. But they got an L on their record.
Yeah, you got an L. I'm sorry. They got a couple L's. They fighting for their lives now. 0-2. I don't know. You guys going to have to turn it around to even make the playoffs now. And I'm just very, very, very happy that we were able to contribute to that situation. That's all I have. I'm just happy. Here's our resident fan from down under, Tony Burren. All right, what time is it, Tony? You guys are like 16 hours ahead. It's tomorrow morning already. There, let me know what time it is. But Tony Burren from Australia, he says it's all about our secondary today. They hold things down, we'll be fine. And I believe that. Again, in the opening, I said that this team has the luxury of playing with such a great defense, because this could be a very different situation we're sitting here talking about had it not been for a stout defense. And I always give credit out. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but my guy, Vic Fangio, is the glue that holds that whole thing together. This defense, and he surprised me last year, right? Coming off the year we had, that defense was horrible. Oh, horrible. Yeah. And I thought that he would improve our defense. I did not foresee that it would be the number one defense in the league, right? And here, again, he's doing somewhat of the same thing. I knew we were coming off a year, our defense is number one, but we lost a lot of key players in the offseason. And I was wondering, all right, I have confidence that Vic is going to turn around. He's going to get this defense playing at its highest level. What has shocked me, though, is that we're way ahead of schedule. I didn't expect it to be in the first 2 games. I didn't expect this to be playing at the level that we're playing with all these young players in place and still figuring some things out. Like we talk about, cornerback 2 is still being figured out. Yeah. But so far, he has put in 2 rookies again You know, last year he put in Dijon or Dejeen and Mitchell. This year he put in Makuba and Campbell, and they are performing at a high level. Vic has this defense playing at a high level, way ahead of schedule in my eyes.
Every time I hear about Vic Fangio being too hard on the players in Miami, I look at what they do down there, and they're terrible. They're soft, you know, and that's why they don't want him to be defensive coordinator. And when he came here, and we talked about that. Well, pushing the players too hard. No, it's not pushing the players too hard. It's putting the players in better positions to be the better athlete than they ever thought they would be. Sometimes you need that coach that sees something deeper in you than you see in yourself. And he was trying to emphasize that in Miami, but here in Philly, he's doing a damn thing. He turned an outside rush linebacker into one of the best middle linebackers in the national football. He's turned around a corner from a small school, Toledo, to be one of the best corners in the league. He took a quote unquote white cornerback who doesn't exist in the league and actually he's becoming one of the better defenders in the NFL, period. He has taken those pieces. He said, listen, you have to do this, follow this script, and we'll be all right. And the wheels haven't fallen off. He turned the Kobe Dean into one of the best middle linebackers there is. And now he has another project in Jahad Campbell, who is balling out of control. Balling out of control.
Yes.
I just can't wait till we do this shot.
All right. Yeah, we'll do the shot and I'll finish praising Vic because you brought up some interesting points. All right. So you are watching Eagles Talk pregame edition. We're getting ready for is this the
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes,
I thought it was after this. It's not.
It's halftime, baby.
No, I mean we're just starting the second quarter.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
All right, yeah. Okay, all right. So let me get my thing. All right, so you're watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around that is by us Eagles fans, for us Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shot. And don't get it twisted. If you're an adult, you drink a beverage, you have an adult beverage. So my adult beverage this morning is going to be coffee. Pat is doing the Woodford Reserve. I see people out there doing the Stella Artois. I saw Dion. I have to put that back on. I forgot what it is, but it sounds interesting what he's doing. But whatever you're doing, put it in the chat room and let's do it together. So, to our Philadelphia Eagles, down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
All right. Piggyback off of the fantastic things that you've said Vic has done. He's taken, like you said, a small school cornerback, turned him into one of the best cornerbacks in the league in only a second year, took a white corner and recognized, I had a vision for what he would think he would be best at. And he went from being an outside corner in college to being one of the top slot corners. And with that, he's the hybrid linebacker when he goes to nickel. Vic saw all of this, this young man, and he put him in that position. And now he's not only a top corner, he's a top defender. You know what I mean? He's a top defender because of the multitude of things he could do. And Vic recognized that vision and allows him to do those things on the field. So, I just take my hat off to Vic Fangio, old school. I love that about him. And I love the fact that we had the type of young men that could embrace that type of coaching. Like you said, those others in Miami or the other places where he's rubbed the players wrong, they were soft. They were too soft to be able to take that type of coaching. And now he is in a situation where he has people buying in and they take his style of motivation to heart, and it actually gets them activated. I loved it when he first came in and he said, we're going to work. Like if you notice, the starting offense might not play in the preseason, but the starting defense, they get snaps in the preseason. Vic said, no, we play. We got, how are we going to get good if we're not out there tackling and stuff like that? So I think that is a big cause for the success of the defense also.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, the more snaps you get, the more looks you can see, the better you get at it. Because game speed and practice speed is two different things. In practice, yes, you're moving quickly, but in the game now you're more or less reacting to what you have seen in the film or what you have practiced against, and seeing other individuals. It reminds you that you can't win this game just by practice alone. You got to be out there taking those stumps, getting those bruises, getting back up and saying, "Oh crap, I didn't see that on film last week." They showed something different this week, so it is going to be a daunting task for us to really accept everything that Vic Fangio has done. But you cannot argue with his success. He's a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. I mean, you can say the same about Jim Schwartz, but Jim Schwartz let up 500 yards passing in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Oh my
So it's
God.
more or less our offense won us that game. Even though Brandon Graham had the game defining strip sack. But when you look at it, Vic Fangio brings an element to this game where he is the grown adult, the father of the room, telling the kids, listen, don't jump off of that bed because you're gonna hurt yourself. If you come down slowly and you can attack the bed, you'll be good. He's the one giving that wisdom, giving that knowledge, and making sure that these players understand what their real abilities are. Who would have thought Jordan Davis losing all this weight, and not getting as many steps in the past three seasons, you
I
know,
would have thought.
not
I
getting
would have
as many
thought.
snaps, getting 20 and 15 snaps, especially last year. Vic Fangio said, "Yo, he got to get in better shape. I'll play him more if he's in better shape." But he is now playing him, and he's showing the proof on the field by being so dominant, like he was in college. Jalen Carter, he said last week, Jalen Carter's not in shape. You got to get in shape, be better. He's not biting his tongue on his players.
No,
Adoree Jackson, when asked about Adoree Jackson, he said, Howie Roseman gets the players, and I have to make sure they're good. And right now, Adoree, he has to show me something. He hasn't shown me it. He still has to show us. And I know he's quick to pull these players out there, especially when they're not producing. And that's what I like about him. He's not that timid or scared defensive coordinator. He does what's necessary for our team to win, and that's what we need.
oh yeah, definitely a throwback quarterback, and I love that he's with us, and I love the position that he's in. It's very, very similar to Jim Johnson. Uh, you know, older coach, been around, had his opportunities, a head coaching job, and is just very, very comfortable sitting in that defensive coordinator position. I don't think that he wants to be a head coach anymore. He's close to home. We may have Vic until he retires, which would bode well. We have another one of those type of coaches on the offensive side of the ball, Stoutland University, same situation, very, very comfortable being in his position and does an excellent job at it. If we could just find an offensive coordinator like that, if we could find an older offensive coordinator, genius of the game, is not looking for any head coach job, and bring them in and stop this carousel of play callers that we've had for the past 5 years, that would be great. So until then, we got to suffer with the growing pains of the offense getting on track. And we've had that situation for the past 5 years now. And it's always the same. That September, the new offensive coordinator is still getting his sea legs under him, so to speak. And they don't figure it out until a little later, right? I mean, even took Kellen Moore last year,
Mhm.
that whole month of October, and I don't think he was ever hitting on a high. Was hitting on all cylinders all year. I think the entire year he was figuring it out, and he got hot near the end of the year. I think he gathered his flow near the end of the year. But let's not mistaken those games. Even when we were winning 10 in a row, some of those offensive performances were not, you know, didn't look explosive, but we won the game. I mean, we lean heavily on Saquon. So it takes a while for the offensive coordinator. Like I said, going into this year, that was my biggest concern. I wasn't even concerned about the defense with all of the people who departed the team. I wasn't worried about that because I was more worried about the offense, even with all of the stars that we have, just because of one single thing, and that was a new offensive play caller, and we
Yeah.
didn't know how he calls plays and the such. So we're still developing our offense. This will be a great opportunity for the offense to get on track, to look more fluid. Like I said, I don't need big numbers. Week one was good for me, suffice for me to see the offense moving the ball consistently in that first half of the first game. If I can get that on a consistent basis, I'm okay. I don't need 500 yards from Jalen. I don't need 200 yards on the ground from Saquon. If I can see a consistent, fluid, moving offense, I'll be happy with that.
I just need 150 yards from AJ Brown. I got him on my fantasy team. All right, listen, these last 2 weeks with AJ Brown in there and Justin Jefferson has been terrible for me. All right, I do need to see some pass game yards to those big time receivers. But yeah, what you said, Dark Knight, we don't need to see 1,000 yards passing in 2 weeks from our quarterback, but we do need to see some consistency. All right. Past 5 years, we have 5 different coordinators. Even though Pachulo has been here during that last 4 years, he hasn't been the person making those calls. And yes, this is a slow period for him because he has to make the calls on the fly. So, if you haven't done this before, it's kind of hard to get your sea legs in front of you. But the good thing about it is you got Jalen, the General Hurts at quarterback, which can steady the ship until we get everything properly right. And I need to see more crosses from our receivers. I need to see us be more aggressive here and there. You're going against a defense who's not known for their secondary. They're known for their front seven, like their front four, front five. Beyond that, they're not known for anything besides that. We need to attack them. I mean, I get the run game going. That steadies the ship. But get the ball into your playmakers' hands early and often.
Yeah, JT, let me go to some comments out here. JT, I have to admit that I did. I always said JD was a beast. Yes, he had always been a big JD supporter. I loved him coming out of college, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but
too.
in the first 2 years, I got to call spade a spade, and he was not, playing up to what my expectations, right, of what I don't think he was playing up to anybody's expectations with all the hype that he was getting coming out of college. But now this year he's looking like that player. Now he's looking like the player we thought he would be, and I'm happy. And I credit some of that to Vic being honest with him. Look, man, I'll play you more, but you're not in shape, bro. You're not in shape. So what did he do? He dropped pounds. He got in the best conditioning of his life, and it looks like it the first 2 weeks. Although he suffered from cramps in the second week and couldn't stay on the field as long as he might have wanted because of that. But it wasn't because of his conditioning.
It was hot out there in KC.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody say. This it was like 93 degrees. You 6'6", 320 pounds. That's a lot. That's big. That's a big man out there now.
I don't think Jack says, as a part owner of the Eagles, will Brian Dawkins have any say in coaching motivation? I don't know. Maybe motivation. I don't know.
It's that rumor. It's that AI rumor. I got you.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we got to be careful. We already put somebody on on probation for that. We can't. You got to be careful about the information that you consume and put out there. It's all you can consume whatever you want to consume, but be careful, especially when it concerns our Eagles and in our Eagles talk group. Be careful what you post. Be sure to vet the information before you post it. Because, we don't want to be putting out false information. And there's a lot of AI-generated information that is just false, and it looks so real.
It looks so good.
You know what I mean? It looks so real. My first thing when I vet something is to look at the URL. And some of the URLs will tell you, like, immediately that this is bullshit. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? If it's not from, like, one of the big outlets, that's first.
Adam Scheffler.
Right. You know what I mean? If it's not from a big outlet, my eyebrow is raised, and then and I go look further. So just be careful about what information you're putting out there. Definitely. We got this tailgater he's very, very vocal. You can see that AJ was frustrated when he was interviewed earlier this week. Yeah.
He said the right things though. He literally said AJ didn't do the TO thing where he threw his quarterback who chose offensive coordinator or people under the bus. he kept it professional. 100%
Yeah.
professional. You understand that this game has its ups and its downs, and we have to be patient with the offense. The defense, on the other hand, is playing their ass off.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Jack got it. So let's end this quarter, man, because this is when we do the thing. All right, we're getting close, man. We're getting close.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, so here we go, man. I don't even know if we're gonna get it. Yeah, we'll get a quick fourth quarter in, right? Maybe. All right, so anyway, the #1 Eagles coverage show around on Facebook. That's by us Eagles fans, for us Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I am doing coffee. That is doing Woodford Reserve. Let me know what you're doing out there. And we get ready for the game. So, down the hatch. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
Eagles Talk, the #1 Eagles coverage show on Facebook. That is by Eagles fans, for Eagles fans.
Yes.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
Let's go. Where Dark at? I don't have Dark. You ain't give me Dark, man.
I didn't give you Dark. Oh man,
Dark, man. We need Dark right now.
I got him on the soundboard over here, but I don't have it hooked up.
Oh, somebody called for that. It's like, what we getting, the song or we getting B Dark? I was going to try to give you both. I don't have it. You gotta send it to me. I don't have it on the soundboard here. But no, it's about to go down. All right, we talk about the struggles and what we want to see improved on offense. But you know, the highlight of every week has been this defense. And that's what I'm getting hyped about, because we have finally returned to the days of old where we have a very physical, not bubble knocking defense out there. They are nasty, and they get after it. They get after it. They have their leader of nastiness on that defensive line, Jalen Carter. Yes, he will spit on your ass. I mean, you know, that's the type of defense we have, man. It's physical. It's going back to like the 90s, the Jim Johnson's era. They like to hit, and they like to get physical. And one adjective that they're not using about this defense that I heard quite frequently 2 years ago is soft. This is not a soft defense at all.
Not even close to it. Not even close
this
to it.
D is hard.
Pause.
Pause.
I see what you did there. No,
this D is not soft. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh my goodness.
This D is hard. I'm trying to tell you. We have a D that I can get. Oh well, no, I'm not gonna say that either. All right. We do have a defense we have a defense that I can get behind. We have a defense right now that I can get behind because they are very physical and they play tough, man. And they shut down offenses, man. We've gone up against, in the past year, we've gone up against some top quarterbacks. We've gone up against some top offenses, and Vic Fangio and this defense has done a tremendous job of neutralizing them, and in some cases, shutting them down.
Yes.
So I'm looking very forward to seeing that type of energy come out here. And if the offense decides to join in, we'll take that. But I can hang my hat on the fact that this defense is going to come out here and give us a solid effort.
Yeah, I need I need the defense to do the doggone thing. Stand up in it. All right, let's stop being immature for a moment. Yeah, listen, man. We got to eat. We got to eat. Our offense, our defense, even special teams. We haven't given credit to Elliott, this past 2 weeks, but he's been pretty much on the money. 258-yard field goal.
Oh yeah.
He's been deadly in the field goal game, and that's essential moving forward because we always thought we had to replace the kicker. Shout out to our punter who's been booming some moon balls. So special teams is very crucial to changing the field and putting points on the board when your offense does stall. But today we just need command. We need total command, and it's a 1:00 game. There's a team coming from the left coast to the right coast, and there's a 3-hour difference. A lot of times when teams do that, it's hard for them to adjust on a 1:00 game. A lot of times they play them at 4, so they can adjust. Their bodies can adjust to the time difference. We need to take full advantage of everything that's in front of us. Everything in front of us. We got 3 minutes, DarkKnight.
We got 3 minutes. So let's start this. You guys, let's get to some predictions right now. Let's get some predictions.
Yes.
You know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Look, let's get some predictions, man. Go ahead.
All right, so I always used to talk about the line of scrimmage. I still do here and there. It's very important that we limit their defensive line. Jared Verse, Brayton Fisk, their defensive line is something not to be laughed about because they are their monsters. That's their heartbeat right there. The defensive line in Matthew Stafford is their heartbeat. If we're able to dominate and get on the other side of that defensive line, I think we can win this game very handily. It's not going to be an easy game because we're still trying to find our sea legs. But I still believe that this team has the gumption, the gall, the go get it attitude on offense and put up points that's necessary for us to win this game in not a blowout faction, but a kind of close faction. I think we win a little bit more points than they do.
All right. That's great. There's one prediction up there. Rachel says 27-20 Birds win. Jeremiah is predicting a 24-21 win. And Robin says by 7. By 7. Well, I think that it's going to be one in the trenches. Our defensive line has got to slow down the Rams offense. Of course, that's our best path to victory as we await for the offense to join the party in the manner in which we know that they can. We know this offense can dance, but they've just been giving us 2 steps the first 2 weeks. We need to see them give us some moon slides, some Chris Brown type moves. We need this offense to show up to the party and be a dance partner to the defense here. Defensive line is going to be one of the trenches. I hope our offensive line can continue its dominance over the Rams and in the rushing game. That's how we've been successful previously. But you know that they're going to bring all attention and focus to slowing down Saquon Barkley. So, offense, please show up. I think the defense is going to give us a good, solid performance. And I think we do eke out this win because we do know how to win games in every situation. So, I have us, Eagles, with more points than them. You guys, Robin by 7. Bill Crow says 34-20 Birds. Dion says 2019. Whoa, real tough one. And Jeremiah predicts defense 2 turnovers today, 3 sacks. I'll take that. RPO returns. Oh, I would love to see that. You know how successful Jalen is in running those. I would love to see that. All right, see you guys in the chat, man. Everybody go. Enjoy the game, and then come back and let's talk about it. All right, I'm your man, Dark Knight for Pat. See you after the game. We're out. Peace.